Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. Now, to get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that can be featured in a future episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a YouTube message. The first question for today comes from the Bravo Com, and it is, what do you think about putting a bleed out into the game? For example, your health goes under 5%, you will bleed out slowly and die if you aren't being healed. I'm always angry when I get shot at someone, he has low HP, but I got killed and he stays alive. This would make the game a little bit more realistic, and it wouldn't make players angry after they don't get a kill. So I've been getting this question a lot lately, and I don't know if people just don't think things through all that well, but honestly, if this was added into the game, I have a feeling that a lot of people that even suggest having a bleed out effect in the Battlefield franchise probably wouldn't enjoy it all that much once it actually was implemented into the game. Because, yeah, I understand, it does get a little frustrating when you lose a firefight against someone and they run away with 5% or less health. I get that, it's frustrating, you lost. It's never fun losing. But at the same time, there's a lot of situations where you win a firefight and you only have 5% health. Now imagine where you won a firefight, you only have 5% health, and now you're slowly dying and you're not playing as a medic, and then you die. Did you actually win that engagement? You killed him first, but he slowly willed you down at the end because of a bleed out effect. The end result was both of you dying, so at the end of the day, it was pretty much a kill trade. And right now, no one likes kill trading in Battlefield, or really in any first-person shooter, because it just doesn't feel right. You always feel like there should be a victor and a loser for engagements, or at least for the most part. And so if they added it on in there, I have a feeling that many people, me included, would get very annoyed by a bleed out effect because you would be constantly dying all over the place if you're not playing as a medic. My other reason why I don't want this into the game is that it would further emphasize the role of the medic class. There are already a lot of people running around as the assault and using the med packs, and if there was a bleed out effect, that would further the role of the med pack, because if you did get into those situations where your health was very, very low, not only would you want to get that to full health as quickly as possible, which is what the med pack is for, but it would also keep you from dying from the bleed out effect itself. And so there are just numerous reasons why I think this is a bad idea. Honestly, if you are looking for super realism, there are games out there that do it, and while every once in a while I do like a little bit more realism added into the game, I don't think this is something that we want to have in the Battlefield franchise. The next question comes from Dark Shield, and it is, what do you think about DICE adding weapon camos that look like materials such as wood? I love this concept, and actually liked it so much that I thought about it for a while, and I wanted to take it a step further, because while I love the camo system in Battlefield 4, it's extensive, it's fabulous, there are plenty of camos to allow you to customize your soldier to your liking, it would be nice if there were maybe some premium camos at your disposal where you can unlock them through some difficult achievements, or maybe making it so that you unlock them by reaching a certain milestone with a particular weapon. And so let's say, for example, you hit 1,000 kills with the FAMAS, and instead of just getting some stupid dog tag that no one's gonna notice, you get a cool custom camo for that particular weapon. You can't use the camo on any other weapon, it would only be for the FAMAS until you get maybe 1,000 kills with the M16A4, and then you would have it for that gun, but it would allow you to distinguish yourself and really showcase that you have mastered this weapon and given you something to strive for that you can see in the game at all times when you use that particular weapon. I realize that this probably is never going to happen in Battlefield 4 because it would just further the development time, and as we already know, DICE is swamped with all the bug fixes, and it may not even happen in a future Battlefield title, but this is something that I would love to see in video games. It kind of takes it a step further, where I wouldn't want it to be like gold camos like they do in the Call of Duty franchise, but material like wood. I don't know about chrome, but just adding a further customization layer there that showcases that you're the man, you got 1,000 kills with a particular gun, I think would be fantastic. The next question comes from Dalton, and it is, how would you feel about them restoring the heavy barrel to how it was in Battlefield? I'm assuming you mean Battlefield 3. At least on the console, there is hardly any reason to use the heavy barrel just because it makes your gun kick like a mule. I don't know how it is on PC, this is just speaking from a console point of view. What do you think? No, you are absolutely right on this point. Very few people on PC use the heavy barrel. The recoil, while it's a little bit easier to manage because we are using the mouse, and using a mouse allows you to be a little bit more accurate, at the same time, that 50% increase to your recoil is so large that the increase in accuracy doesn't make up for it. And usually, when you're trying to take out someone at long range, which is what the increased accuracy is all about, because the recoil is so much higher, your weapon kicks so that you no longer have your reticle over your target. And so you actually have to tap fire more often with the heavy barrel, increasing the time to kill, so it actually probably take you longer to take out your target if you were just not using it at all. And so I 100% agree with you. Something needs to be done to tweak the heavy barrel to increase its effectiveness, because right now hardly anyone uses it. I don't want it to be as powerful as it was back in Battlefield 3, because I would say it wasn't overpowered back then, but it was easily one of the most used customization options in the game. Especially when the game first came out, it was fantastic. It was a phenomenal attachment. And so we don't want to make it so that it's the most used attachment in the game, but we want to boost its power to the point where it is a viable pick, because right now the heavy barrel, I don't want to say it's broken, but it's almost to the point where it's useless and it's like it's not even in the game. When you have all these different customization options, I realize it can be difficult to balance all of them, but if you're just using this as a marketing tool to be like, hey, we have all these different things that you can do to change the weapon and to suit your certain type of play style, but there are certain customization or attachments that don't even add to the game and they're so useless that no one uses it, then it's like it's not even in the game itself, because it doesn't add to anything. And so in my opinion, I think something needs to be done with the heavy barrel. Give us more options to customize our weapons, because right now the heavy barrel is not an option. It does not enhance our gameplay. It does not really allow us to customize it to our playstyle. It more often than not hampers the weapons itself and doesn't add to the weapon. So I 100% agree something needs to be done with the heavy barrel. The next question comes from Jacob, and it is, I would like to know your opinion on the SRAW fix that was implemented in the latest patch. Was the wombo combo really that powerful? No, I don't think it was as powerful as DICE is making it out to be. I don't think it completely changed tank dynamic and it made the SRAW blatantly overpowered, because there were a lot of things that had to line up for you to effectively take out a tank or to even get the wombo combo to work. If you're not familiar with what he's talking about, basically before this patch, if you were using a SRAW, if you fired one of your SRAWs up into the air and then let it fly for a second and then reloaded another one, you could fire at the tank, and as long as you aimed at the tank and it wasn't moving, both of the SRAWs would hit in around the same time, or at least within a couple of seconds. So you could essentially do around 50% of the enemy tank's health almost instantaneously. It was very powerful. But that being said, a lot of things had to align to allow you to do that. The tank needed to be standing still or moving very, very slowly, because if they were accelerating or doing a lot of crazy maneuvers, you were going to have a difficult time to get all of your SRAWs to land. The other thing is that when you were trying to pull off this maneuver, you had to be out in the open for a very, very long time. Not just for one SRAW, but for the second SRAW. And so if the tank doesn't realize you're there, then sure, you're able to get it off. But if you're trying to pull this off and the tank has at least a general idea of where you're at, good luck trying to survive that engagement. If they're not going to be able to take you out with their main shell, they're going to switch on over to their secondary and take you out with, you know, the heavy machine gun. And so I don't know why DICE thought that this was such a massive exploit that it needed to be changed, because I thought it required skill. The player that was using the SRAW needed to know when to use it appropriately. You couldn't just use this all the time, because if you did, you were going to get killed over and over again. You had to have some skill. It required a little bit more skill on the part of the SRAW user, and I just felt like it was a fun way at using the gadget. Sure, I guess you could say it was an exploit because it did go against how the SRAW works in the real world, but at the same time, I just thought that it was well balanced, and maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe a lot of people out there will disagree with me and they thought it was completely broken, but I thought it was a fun addition into the game. It didn't hamper the gameplay. But that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in a future episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.